Wow. What happened? They just kicked me off. And I couldn't save the video. That's how you know it's for real. Don't do that. Don't tell them that. This is what happens when you rise, y'all. They don't want y'all to hear this stuff. Oh boy. It happens. They did not want that video to go up. So they froze that video. And then I tried to post it and it said a problem and kicked me off of Instagram. So the information from that video, we're going to have to say it again another time. But that's wild. I'm telling y'all, this stuff. See, there's ways to break apart the Matrix that the Matrix isn't afraid of. It's to pretend to break apart the Matrix. It's to pretend to be doing something, to be saying something that moves people. That's to pretend. You know what happens when somebody's telling you the real stuff. You see it real time of them trying to stop the real stuff. So everybody that was here previously, earlier, with all this I said before, that was for you and only you. You and only you. We're going to break this. We're going to overcome this. This is what it looks like. The more of us that do this, we rise faster. We are a family. We are a family. The primordials is what I call us. And the primordials never quit. We never stop. No matter what. And I told you, after April 8th, we would see a lot of things in people, who they really were. A lot of people thought they were getting powers that are speakers out here. And when they didn't, they see them cracking right before your eyes. Because really, some people preach knowledge for revenue. Only revenue. But it's not to change anybody. It's the appearance to change and inspire. But when things happen, you see things. And everybody is being exposed. If you are a good person, that's going to be exposed. If you're telling the real truth, that's going to be exposed. But if you're soft and you're not ready and you don't believe the things that you say, that's going to be exposed too. How come whenever somebody talks about war, they don't want nobody to talk about war? When you know good and well things around you are getting murdered. Nature's hurting right now. And its people and its guardian would do something about that. But when its guardians get their abilities back, they're going to do something about that. And if you're in our way, it's going to be bad for you. When you really are who you are and you really are in that space which you are who you are, the things that you say, you're not going to be afraid to say because fear is not going to exist inside of you at that particular point in time. If fear does not exist inside of you, what would you say? So it's about time for you, if you want to activate, to ask yourself questions when situations arise that will incite fear or you not speaking your real truth or being in your authentic self. Those questions must be asked so your higher self can properly and without ego give you those answers. So with those answers, you can apply those or look into them and say, wait a second. Why does this fear exist? Why does this reluctance to speak the truth exist inside of me if I am a truth chaos being? Am I trying to stay here in this matrix, in this dimension, or am I trying to rise? Like actually. So you have to begin to question yourself and open up that inner dialogue. Because that of yourself aspect knows everything and already is a genius. Intellectual, brilliance. This is what you are. And if you begin to have these conversations every day with this intellectual brilliance, you will become yourself intellectual brilliance. You will see. You will see. If you're talking to yourself and somebody asks, what are you doing? I'm talking to myself. You're weird. I'm just talking to myself. Aren't you? If you don't talk to yourself, who else is talking to you? I'll say it again. If you're not talking to yourself, having the inner dialogue, what else is talking to you, and who controls that program? Talking to yourself is a good thing. Like with the vocal cords and with the mind. Constant thought, some of us can keep ourselves company. We just don't realize it. We are looking everywhere else to find somebody to spend time with, when yourself is like, I'm right here. Gossiriks to Kirim, Baivaram, Vloverixt, Gibaram, Sturintikeraram, Bofakirix to Karaxt, Vlevarum Bori Kirim, the Interix Karam, Vloverixt, Gibarara, Gobarama, Forixt, Liverin, Gitikirim, Vorum, Gung, Vlekambaraxt, Ging Zebarakst, Vle Indikirim, Bofiri, Kirik Sum, Vleverambo Rambo, Kirixt, Erext. The new blue sun is here, family. The new blue sun is here. Think about who you are. Begin to see that being. Begin to see the color the being is wearing. Blue, white, black. I saw myself. I'll give you an example just so you can understand how to visualize an aspect of yourself that exists in the 5D. With one of mine. So I'm going to own a martial arts studio one day. Big one too. My gi is black. There is a dragon eye on the left side of the gi. Some type of dragon martial arts school. And I don't sound like this anymore. My voice is different. I'm commanding. You have to begin to see it and be very specific of what it is you exist like in a higher dimension. And it could be anything. It could be anything. Because a lot of you have been struggling to figure out how to earn revenue in any aspect that we exist in. But one of the biggest things that's about to come through you is that answer. Because when you morph into what you actually used to be and always have been locked inside of yourself, that will be one of your least problems. That'll be like your last problem is how to take care of myself. That'll be somewhere on the floor. Because when you are what you are, the world's going to come to us. We'll have to beat them off with a stick. But the reason why some of us struggle is because we're not there yet. We haven't gotten the activation yet. Your activation is correlated with all of your gifts and all of the things that you're going to do and how you're going to help people. And it's going to come so natural to you. It's going to come so natural, like, what? I know how to do all these things already? What? And it's going to feel so good. It's going to feel so good. So sure of yourself, so natural, not like work. Gifts, you, all the time, every day, and everybody feels your energy. You love your brother, you love your sister. Y'all have respect for each other, building new communities, keeping the bloodline pure. It's going to happen. Watch as you come back into your information and who you are. Things you thought about wasn't good, and this reality was not good because it was bad for them. So they had to make you believe it wasn't good for you too. As long as you think some of the things that you was doing, that you was believing was bad, they would be in their dream. Your rise is their fall, but their rise is also your fall as well, because they just can't help but to do what they do. They can't help it. They don't have the connection, so they just are the other thing. No connection created that. Vleverext, Kabirindu, Starama, Vlaivaram Gumberex, the Kirim, Vlokorex, the Karaksum, Vli Indikarex, the Kalaram Boverex, the Clarem Vukopa, Karam Bleram Dukarex, the Kirim Bloferex, Everex, Vlaram Bofirik, Kim Derek, Varum. Telling y'all, family. Boom, boom. That's right. Confirmation, Danielle. Bhakti Kirim. And then it will make all the sense in the world about why they do these things to you. I'll make this promise. I'm not going to be like that when I get my power back, because one of the worst things you can do in the cosmos is abuse your power. So exercise right now for you, not abusing your power and whatever power you have, because everybody has a moniker of power right now in their life over someone else or whatever it may be. Everybody does. Exercise not abusing it right now. So when you get the full power, you've already exercised it. So the way you do one thing is the way you do all things. If you don't abuse it at this level, you're definitely not going to abuse it at this level. You could abuse it easily there. So don't abuse your power. Don't be like them. You see? And the martial arts thing is so beautiful. Some of y'all have always been interested in martial arts, always felt like you could do it. It's because you could do it. It's because you could do it. Like complex movements that you feel like you've been training for thousands of years. We are definitely rising. And we're also going to transform too. Many of us are going to transform. Keep believing it's not real and keep it to yourself, because I don't want to hear it. If you don't believe it's real, keep it to yourself. Don't lower another person's frequency because your perspective is different. If that person wants to believe they can fly, let them believe it. Because what if they're right? And you just stopped both of y'all from flying because you didn't believe them. So now you pull them back. Y'all both walking now. No. Keep it to yourself. Let a person dream. Let a person visualize. Let a person create. We could create all this that we already have. Why not? Abilities. And now that we have assistance from the new sun, what are we waiting for? Time to act. Time to do. Time to move. Time to talk to ourselves. Ask yourself right now, what am I doing right now that is stopping me from activating as fast as I would like to activate? Ask yourself that question. And then ask yourself, what could I be doing right now that will assist my activation? And that answer will pop into your head. That's how fast your soul works. And if you're probably here, you'll probably have one. If you're in this video right now, you probably have a soul. And it's waking up. So, I am telling you how to talk to it. Just ask it questions. There's nothing better than teaching yourself. I don't care what books you've read. I don't read anymore. I stopped reading. I can't read anymore. I had to stop. They throwing me off. These books is throwing me off from me. So I had to stop. Nah, I read enough books. Now it's time to read the books of me. which a lot of individuals have a difficult time with, especially if they've read a lot of books. They have a difficult time talking to themselves. You're an expert at everybody else's thoughts and perspectives, but your own. Self conversation, self realization, self trust. Can you trust yourself that you could be wrong and still go in that path? Even though for most of the time you're probably not, but by being wrong, you become the teacher of self, learning the lesson of being wrong because you're experiencing right and wrong too. Getting you to the right path anyway, so the wrong decision was still the right path. Are you a master to realize that? Because you're always learning and assessing, right? And if you're constantly in a space of learning and assessing, that means you can assess and you can grow from the assessment of being wrong, which made you right all over again. That new blue sun is activating us. DNA is coming online. Focus on that. And meditate. Meditate. Sit with your thoughts in this position. I sit like this when I meditate like this. That's how I sit. This mudra. Something told me to sit like this. I used to sit like this and meditate. Now I sit like this and meditate. Right here in front of my solar plexus. Right? And I meditate. You don't got to meditate for long, especially if you're talking to yourself. It's going to come through. It's going to come through. And here's the thing. Here's how you get it. You ask. Okay, somebody asked a question. I kind of want to answer this question. So somebody said, how do you feel about hypnosis and past life regression? Hypnosis, I went to two hypnotherapists. They both didn't work on me. I'm trying to do it. I'm like, yo, this don't work. And they're upset because it works for everybody else, but hypnosis never worked on me. Ever worked on me. So I don't believe in hypnosis for certain people because it never worked on me. I was like, what's wrong with me? It don't work. No, what's right with you you can't be hypnotized. You can't be tricked. You can't be put on a trance. You are the trance. You are the energy. Past life regression is something that I have done better by myself. By plant medicine, I regress. But what I've noticed is sometimes we can dwell in the past too much and we will regress because we are in the past instead of moving forward. So I stopped doing too many past life regressions and started to get to know the spirit that wanted to continue to exist, not the one that already had the experiences. So I stopped doing those as well. That's why people come to my house. I'm not really a big picture guy. I don't really dwell on how I used to look or whatever it may be because I'm trying to get to something else. So I can't dwell in what I was because I'm trying to become something anew. And if I continue to regress and look in my past lives so much and don't bring any of those abilities and that knowledge here to create something new because they're all coming together. So now they're going to be some type of a hybrid of experiences and expression, and what you exist in right now is the hybrid of all those experiences. That made you what you are, but you're supposed to use the knowledge of what that was to get you to what you're about to become. Right? So I was never big on pictures because I never wanted to continue to look like, oh, this was me. Because that means that if I'm looking at that, reminiscing, sad, that must mean I'm not too happy with my present right now if I'm continuing to look in the past. And a lot of people, their highest level of conversation is reminiscing, which doesn't say a lot about those people because if all we're doing is talking about what we was, how can we ever focus on what we're about to become? Just me. Y'all can ask questions as I'm talking too. I'll answer questions as I'm talking. Somebody said my stomach is in knots listen, I'm activating. Deactivated, activate, family. Deactivated, activate. It's layers. It's layers and levels. Layers and levels, family. But like I said, if you want to get activated, continue to tune into what I'm saying, because my spirit is speaking through me. What if your purpose doesn't align with your dreams? Then it's not your purpose. If your purpose doesn't align with your dreams, you need to reevaluate your purpose, because that's not your purpose. Your purpose is your dream. So if they're not the same thing, then there you go. Can you do a detox by intermittent fasting? No, you can do a detox by fasting. By fasting, you can do a detox. Just don't eat. Your body will do it itself. But if you're continuing to eat while you're detoxing, it's not going to fully detox unless you're eating 1 meal a day and you're drinking urine and taking supplements like the ones behind me or whatever. But, that's how it works. So when you start your martial arts school, I don't know. I can see it. I don't know. I don't care how it's going to happen. I know that when I get my abilities, I'm going to partner with certain people that I'm already beginning to partner with, and we're going to rise together. A lot of chosen ones have been hitting me up and with abilities, and I see it coming together. When we manifest, family, we don't worry about all the fine details, because we're trying to control the universe instead of seeing the result, becoming that person and watching how everything takes place. It all begins to fit in on its own, because you're becoming that which is that. You're doing it now. So if you're one of your abilities that you couldn't master was like your anger, and this particular aspect of yourself doesn't get angry because they rule over emotions, then you work on anger right now. If this self right here is lazy, then you realize that you don't want to be that self. You change laziness. You just continue to work. But it's very important to find things you love to do. Like, a lot of you are only moving in your purpose or calling it your purpose because it's tied to money. And that's also a trick as well. Your purpose, your money is basically a reflection of your purpose and how much you make. But a lot of you are leading with the money thing. I can see it. People lead with the money thing, which is why you don't find your purpose. If you led with the purpose thing, the money will find you. It's backwards. You see? You see? But you definitely have to do what you love. And I just noticed your name was what you love. A lot of you aren't. What are your thoughts on a fruit fast, but only consuming the fruits at sunset? That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Do what you feel called to do. And one thing about this journey is some things that I'm doing, that I'm sharing with you, are not going to resonate with you. And that's okay. But some will. It's very important to do what your inner voice tells you to do, because the more you move and trust into that inner voice, the more you will receive transmissions from yourself. And a lot of results, by the way, too. You'll get a lot of results from self by trusting yourself. It's like a reward. Like, oh, great, you trusted me now. So now I'm going to give you a bigger download to get a bigger reward this time, just so you can be able to trust in yourself more. You see? Blekirem, Karam, Bleamkum, Berext, Gliverin, Kum Derext, Kirex, Sorax Delerem, Bayram, Mokirex, Kirem, Blerum. Watch. How did you learn that language? Is it Egyptian? Does it help you connect with your avatar? So many questions. You ask good ones. I didn't learn this language. I remembered this language. Difference. 2, is it Egyptian? It is Kemetic. It is dragon, primordial. It is. And does it connect with my avatar? Yes, it does connect with my avatar. Correct. It connects with the soul, though, aspect. The avatar is this. The soul aspects which exists inside this body is what it connects to. And by speaking it, that which does not derive from here actually is reprogramming and unlocking key codes to the avatar by speaking it. That is why I speak it so much, because this language, which is English, is a constriction language, which actually locks your body down. So once you get a counter, which is this language, you speak it as much as you can, it will continue to evolve so it can unlock the body. That is how it works. So if you do have language coming through you, or you are being activated by this language, allow it to activate you, because it's unlocking key codes that may not bring this particular language out, but just by hearing it alone can bring out whatever is inside of you. So I made a video on the vowels that has like 333,000 views right now, but I haven't pinned it anymore because it's a year old now. It's time to pin something else up. So yeah. What are your thoughts on justified anger and how to properly transmute it? Well, you transmute it into activity. Activity to whatever activity that comes to you. You transmute that into creativity. But mostly with anger, that's best transmuted with activity. So if you are somebody who is active and angry, it's time to become more active, work out. You will find with a good workout, your anger will dissipate and you'll be able to, instead of push that anger out, you put that anger in and you infuse the body with it and you use it as an energy source. So now anger is energy. It's like a battery. And a lot of us are angry. So we must put that into ourselves to rise our frequency. There you go. There you go. How do you handle grief and not having closure or regrets from past loved one? Haunting memories yet when my dad passed, I was so activated. So I don't look at death the same way everybody looks at death. I look at death as just transition. And at the end of the day, people who passed, they just left this reality, but they're still around. And I would look at our family who have passed as people, beings that I now have come into the knowledge I can help. If anybody passed, it was their time to go. And there is no grief or closure, because you realize that nobody ever dies. We only transition and we transmute and we become something else entirely. We transform. So I don't really look at anger. Not anger. People dying as anything like death doesn't really bother me at all, because we understand what life is. Life is death and death is life. So with that being said, anybody who passed, they're gone. But they're not gone forever. They're just going for the time that we're here now. But we can still contact them at this time if you build an altar and start to give them money and food and things like that, because they need to over there in the astral realm before this realm and that realm becomes one, because they are fusing as well too. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. Being upset about somebody passing is not the worst thing, but you got to realize that it was his chance to go somewhere else now. You know, that's how I look at death. You know, exactly. Thank you, Boogie Goddess. We actually live when we die. Absolutely, we actually live when we die. That was great. Boom. And they actually used that in the He-Man series that came out in 2020. It was Master of the Universe, but He-Man, and it was a place called Eternia. I'm sure you've heard Eternia in many other movies, but it was Eternia. And when He-Man died, they were having a good old time in Eternia. They never wanted to come back to this reality, which they actually deemed as death. Where they were just riding cats and dragons and just having a good old time in nature. Couldn't die, couldn't get hurt, got all their powers back. It was called Eternia. You see? So, when we die, we do live. So I look forward to both, to this experience and that experience. And this experiencing, realizing that you were the show all along and everything was a distraction for you. So you didn't know yourself. Because when you did, you wouldn't do nothing that you did when you didn't know yourself. It was all about you. And who could have scripted a better movie than you? Who could have scripted a better movie than you thinking you were a regular human, moving through life, being indoctrinated left and right, first by your parents, and they threw you in school to be raised by the beings that indoctrinate them some more, thinking you're just a normal person, trying to get successful, making money that wasn't real, buying things, material possessions that really wasn't real because we had this and we got bored with anything we ever bought anyway. And then coming to find out that you weren't just a super powered being, you are a primordial being that has been living and incarnating for millions of years. You know everything. You always did, and you always will. That's a dope ass movie. And we in it right now. We the characters in that movie, the Primordials. That's the name of the movie. It's called The Primordials. And it was our life up until this point. Cheer. Cheer. And then these things will begin to happen called markers that when we begin to wake up, we will begin to see numbers, sequences of numbers, because this is what the matrix is numbers. So we will see sequences to let us know we're on the right, path. Because that's how the other side communicates with us, or the outside presence that's around us at all times. You see? Does any of this resonate with you? If any of what I'm saying resonates with you, put a 1 below. Put a 1 below if any of this resonates. What about him? He's a distraction. I'm not even going to talk about that man here because he's a distraction. What about him? My neck. Woo! I felt that. Yeah. Look at the ones. Come on, Primordials. Tell me about it. Now okay. I thought they were going to do it again and try to freeze my stuff. Look at this. What do we do when we resonate with the dragon language? You begin to allow it to. What do you mean resonate? Like resonate like you could speak it, or resonate like you remember it? If resonate like you remember it, you begin to ask yourself, where do I know this from? And allow the answers to come in. The funny thing about this quickening that we're in is, as you begin to ask the questions, the answers do come fast. The problem that doesn't come fast is you accepting the answer. That's what doesn't come first. That's what takes a long time for us to rise. It's accepting the answer that we receive without allowing the program of crazy enter into our minds so we can begin to receive more. That is the biggest problem with some of us. You see? That's one of the biggest problems right there. Because the answer comes right away. It always has. But you're like, the hell was that? What? I'm who? Anyway, I'm just making, I did see Marvel yesterday, so I'm probably just making it up right now. This is what you be doing to yourself all the time. Yeah, I did just watch. Why would I just think that? I was watching Incredible Hulk. Yeah. Nah, that's not me. That's what we do. That's what we do. Okay, blood types. I'm gonna tell y'all about blood types. There are no blood types that they can record anymore. Your blood type is QX 37 56 25 12 ZX 10. Blood types are not the same anymore. They cannot quantify what it is you are. Blood types are meant to constrict you. And before, your blood type may have been that, but it's no longer that now. Bullcrap. I don't care about blood types. I care about the information in the blood waking up so it can teach me. Why would I want to be in a body that has all the information I can't use it? Who drives a car with 2 tires on it? Who drives a car with 2 tires on it? How about worrying about the information inside of that blood? That liquid crystal you call blood. How about when you get up in the morning, you drink some of that cistern and allow that information to actually activate? Because by drinking the cistern in the morning, you may remember some things. Oh my God, it's so nasty though. So nasty because you're so unclean. It's only nasty because you're unclean. Once you're clean, it tastes like the water you drink. A little bit of Celtic sea salt. But I told you already. Cistern is urine. Cistern is urine. Urine. Do you really want to activate or not? Bostikirik. Movlaram. Baya akumbari kilaran. Muzukurex the klerex the karaxum. Bavarum. Biriktikum. Arax. And if some of y'all have not tapped in the shrooms and you a chosen one, what are you doing? Do you realize how much information you're missing because you don't want to do mushrooms and go eat the food of the deities? Now, I get some people are afraid to do them because they're not the deities. So you will have what they call a bad trip because you ain't that. That's what happens when a bot takes shrooms. But a deity is beginning to remember, what would shrooms do to you? I took shrooms the day before the eclipse. Tapped into something else. Back was on fire. Just the middle part of the back. I'm going to talk about that, Flatbush. And then the front. It activated some Kundalini. So if you're missing out, how do you feel like about smoking marijuana? I do. Oh, marijuana has helped me activate so much. It is such a different experience now. Smoking marijuana is such a different experience than it used to be when I was younger. So different. It is really doing something to me. Oh, you shouldn't smoke. I used to blow fire. Flokorex, the kibaram. The arm, borex, the koram. I used to blow fire. Make it come in my hands and shoot that shit. Shit. What? Man, you missing out. These plants is waking up too. They teaching. These plants are teaching you. Borik. Also, I'm going to tell y'all, if you're going to smoke marijuana, don't wrap it in that poison paper no matter how good they told you it was. I smoke my marijuana out of a pipe, a metal pipe, and I clean my pipe. I smoke out of a pipe. Okay? Watch that shit you're wrapping. Yeah, I'm growing my hair back, family. Yes, I am. Yes. Watch that shit you're wrapping it with. Watch that. It doesn't make me tired. It energizes me. Listen, when I was younger, I think it's about 20 years ago, I would smoke before I played ball. And I would drop like 40 playing ball. It seemed to like focus me, lock me in. See, everybody doesn't have that effect with marijuana. I do. Some of y'all shouldn't smoke anymore. You should listen to that. Because I had to take like 10 years off of smoking weed before I started to do it again. And it was recently when I started again for real. You know, and listen to that part of yourself that says stop if it doesn't serve you anymore. Right? It locks me in. I'm in. You can't even tell if I smoked. I smoked before this video. I took one pull and I was in. You can't even tell. Because I ain't like this all day. I'm locked in. Focus. Weed ain't from here and I ain't from here. You know? Rest. Boss the Kirim. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you don't really get the downloads that marijuana gives you because you're probably corrupting it with that paper or you're abusing it. Some of y'all are abusing it. You're smoking all day, all the time, not doing nothing else. Because weed is also a teacher too. It's also instructing you. So if weed is giving you advice to do something and you're not doing it, but going back to it and smoking, it's like, oh, you ain't listening to me? All right, I ain't giving you nothing no more. Let me go ahead and cool you down. This is why when I do mushrooms, I listen to the advice it's telling me to do before I go back on it, because plants are our teachers as well. Okay? So, there you go. And it's funny because I'm getting all this data real time. What I'm teaching everybody, I'm learning for myself for the first time. This is how it comes out when you are tapped into your higher self, which is all knowing. You know the answer to almost everything. And as you begin to know the answers to almost everything and why these things, anybody can ask you a question and you just know the answer. This is where many of us are going. The true masters that already know these things. Which is why many of you struggle with school. Because there was that inside of you, very small at the time, that knew you can't be too indoctrinated in this system. Because it's going to be more difficult for you to rise if you're indoctrinated in this system. Which means that you had to fight a little bit in school. Now, because you fought a little bit more than the average person, didn't get a ton of degrees, and immerse yourself in corporate America too much, you're able to activate much easier because there's less programming to break away. You've been rebellious from the very beginning because you knew inherently, subconsciously, that you would rise, and any more of that in you is going to just jack you all up. So, does this make sense to anybody? I'm getting downloads real time. You know? So, that was my information on marijuana. That's why when you ask me a question, we can get if y'all ask me questions, we go all over the place with the answers. Like the answer is so complex to certain things because we were put, like things were put inside of us that were meant to appear to be something else, but it really had a deeper meaning behind it, which is why it was pushed to us. So when we began to wake up, we would deny it for like 5 years before we actually accepted it. What are your thoughts about people who stare at the eclipse? Everybody shouldn't have done it. Everybody shouldn't have done it. I did it, but everybody shouldn't have done it. But what they did is fine. They'll have to deal with that. They'll have to deal with that. That's my thoughts on it. As we were looking at the eclipse, I looked at it too, I could feel the energy coming off of it. Something I had never felt before in my life. Many of y'all have too. So, they're going to have to deal with that. I told you already, this new sun is about to phase people out anyway. Because they want to be bullheaded and continue to eat refined sugar and meat. Go ahead. Go ahead. On you. Didn't say I didn't tell you. I was a friend. You know? But it's definitely gonna do some things to some people. You know? It is. And it will continue to do that. As the frequency rises, there will be less chemtrails outside. And we'll just be out there and people will be trying to... You'll see people this summer more than ever walking around with umbrellas from the sun. Melanated people, Caucasian people, Asian people, right? Because if their frequency is not at a particular level, they're not going to be able to take that no matter how much melanin they have. So they're going to be walking with umbrellas. Remember what I said. You're going to see so many people walking around with umbrellas. Umbrellas is going to be a thing for people. It's going to be, umbrellas are going to sell like crazy this summer. I should get into the business of umbrellas because they're going to sell like crazy this year. Remember I said it. And watch. It's going to be too hot. And they're like, yo, my God, the sun is burning my skin. Yeah, like, like that. Imagine when we see more than one in the sky at the same time and it's never nighttime again. Am I going too far into the future though? Am I going too far there? And it's funny. I have never felt a need to look at the sun as much as I need to look at it now. Many of y'all have felt like that too. Like, you sun gaze, but you didn't do it every time the sun was out. But now, you sun gaze anytime the sun's outside. It's like, oh, I got to. You leave your cubicle or whatever, or wherever, you just go and sit. Like, I got to get like 5 minutes of this. It's like a snack. And you got to get like 5 minutes of it because you look at like, yo, I just got to. I just got to. When it hits your skin, you're like, oh my goodness, it feels so good. Like a pillow. It's like a pillow. It feels so good. Oh, son. Right? Telling y'all. Get outside. Anybody been waking up earlier? That too. I've noticed that the sun is out early. And by about 10 a.m., the chemtrail's over the sky. So the trick is getting up early to get out there and go get that sun. Yeah. Yeah, family. Has anybody looked at their skin and seen like little diamonds in their skin? I looked at my feet the other day and I saw that there were speckles of diamonds in my feet. And then in my arm, I'm like, yo, what's up? What's this? What's these? Diamond body, anybody? Anybody transforming a little bit? I was talking to somebody earlier today too, and she was saying she had visions that on her arms, she saw galaxies. I'm like, yo, that resonates heavy. What the fuck was that? And she said it, and I'm like, I could see it. On your arms, galaxies. I said, yo, that resonates. The activated activate, don't they? The cosmic body. There she goes. Cosmic body. Yeah. Red hairs on your arms. I started getting red hair coming out my beard. What the heck is this? You know? Moclorem. I have 2 different color eyes and one feels very activated. I'm curious, it'll get fit. Which eye is the one that feels activated? What color is the eye that feels activated? I'm curious about that. What color is the eye that gets activated? Yeah, my gray hair has begun to come through too, family. I got a lot of gray hairs up here. Woo! But the hair is coming back though. I can't wait till I can get dreads. I saw myself in the backyard levitating, wearing all white with an afro. And I get dreams of me touching my hair with an afro. So continue to just move into that space where you exist in a higher form and begin to trust into it. It's time to get what Matrix calls delusional. It's time to get what they don't want you to be. It's time to get there. The other one is dark brown. Which one is the one that gets activated? Is the one that's dark brown? Because the download that I have received on looking at the sun without melanated eyes is biologically, it can be a little damaging for you if you do it long term, because of the lack of melanin that your eyes may have. So be careful. It's all I say. Light brown. See, light brown. See? The reason why I asked that question is because I knew you had to have some melanin in that eye. So you need to be able to exercise some patience with how often you look at it. If your eyes are like green or blue or whatever eyes, if they're not melanated, like deep, like brown or a certain kind of color of brown, and they have less melanin in them, it could be a little dangerous looking at it all the time. I'm going to say the things that may piss you off sometimes. That might have pissed some of y'all off a little bit. It don't mean it ain't the truth. And that's how you got it, light brown, dark brown. Yeah, see? So you got melanin in your eyes. They got really mad at that one. It's like, well, how come every time I say something that offends the demographic of Caucasians, they always try to attack me in my comments? Like, I'm telling the truth. What you mad at? It's not a big deal. We've been told things that piss us off our whole life. We deal with it. We still rise. You can still rise to being pissed sometimes. It's biology. Feel me? It's biology. People have hit me up and said that one said he had sunspots in his eye. His eyes don't feel right. One said he can't really see that well. So I'm seeing it too. In the comments, or in the DMs at least. All right, y'all. I'm about to go work out. I'm ready to go work out. Oh, one more thing too. I suggest if you want some of the ascension symptoms to dissipate a little bit, start taking baths in salt. After I get off the working out, I take salt baths at night about 3 to 4 days a week. So start taking some baths. You're going to feel really good taking some baths and putting some sea salt in there or some Epsom salt. That's really going to help you out a lot. Okay? That'll be good. Okay? Yes, and isn't it interesting that we were shamed for having darker eyes over the lighter eyes? We always were shamed for that, not realizing that the eyes actually were more better as far as when it comes to absorbing the sunlight. So yeah. Put salt in your shower, okay? I'm talking about. Yeah. All right, but I'm ready to go work out. I'm ready to go break a sweat. Get off your ass and work out because that's going to help your activation too. The more you work out, the more you're going to want to work out. But you got to start. You got to go through those days where you don't feel like it and you still do it. Because the way you do one thing is the way you do all things. Besides that, I love y'all. Oh, well, I'm going to answer. Matter of fact, I'm going to stay for 1 minute and answer the question. Anybody questions? 1 more minute. 1 more minute. So somebody said magnesium in the bath. You know what's funny? She asked that, right? Because I was at the health food store yesterday and I saw a magnesium bag for salt. And my higher self said, grab that. And I just grabbed the magnesium and I'm going to be taking my first magnesium bath tonight. It's funny she said that. That was funny she said that. So I'm putting magnesium in my bath tonight and Epsom salt. How much do I meditate? Every day, all the time. I do a thing called mindful meditation. When I'm driving somewhere, I'm meditating. I don't even remember how I got there. I'm meditating. I go in these trances. It's called mindful meditation. That's what I do. That's how I move. So magnesiums. A lot of us need to take magnesium. So meditation is the key. It is the key for many of us. So listen, we had a good talk today. I've been live since 5. We had a great talk. Instagram should be allow me to save this one. So, but we had a good talk today. Until the next video, though, I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.